We cross live to her now. Mariska, a very good morning to you. A global discussion taking place there in Cape Town. Highlights for you.
Yes, absolutely. You're 100% correct, global. We just heard from David M. Turk, as you just said, and he is the Deputy Secretary of the United States of America Department of Energy. He mentioned few key pillars that are important to energy security and sustainability. And he was very frank about speaking about major emitters like the USA itself, saying that they have for many, many decades been one of the main causes of the pollution and carbon emissions that has brought the planet to where it is right now, and they are working to change that now. And they admitted also that a continent like Africa is only emitting 3% of carbon emissions, and the unfairity of that is blatantly clear to them as well. And he called on all countries like America and other major players like India and China to get their houses in order and play their part in getting the planet back on track, or try to salvage what is possible by lowering carbon emissions. He said, for example, that they did a study recently that showed one of the best places on earth where solar energy can be harvested. Up to 60% of what is possible of solar harvesting can be done in Africa, but only 1% is currently installed on the continent. So he says there's huge potential on the African continent for alternative energies, for green energies to take place. He said it's important that sustainability is a major key player for everybody. He says the world over there's an energy crisis, alluding to the conflict that we're seeing in Europe at the moment between Russia and Ukraine, plunging the entire world into an energy crisis, and that's why sustainability will become more important going into the future. But just to touch on yesterday, what you said there about Minister Gwede Mantashe saying they will go to court to challenge all the court rulings against them for the exploration of gas in South Africa. All the speakers here from the continent itself, Africa, said that Africa cannot be bullied, essentially, or told what to do and how to do their energy collection, demand and supply. And they say that Africa is wealthy in many, many natural resources, including oil and gas, and it's important that those be used for the development of the continent. Also reiterating what Mr. Turk said this morning, that if all the emissions on the continent is combined, it's only 3% of the global emission rate. So they say there's much more to explore in Africa, and Minister Mantashe making sure to say that government is determined to continue with gas exploration in South Africa, and that's why they will take it to the Constitutional Court to be able to continue in that vein to secure energy for South Africa and to help the economy grow.
Yeah, it's very strong statements there made by both of those leaders at the conference, Mariska. Let's talk a little bit about the conversations happening around investment. A big part, obviously, of the conference in and of itself. Any deals being signed, any sort of decisions that are being made, or projects that we see being launched at this platform?
Yes, definitely. This is the place where those kinds of conversations take place. Now, I must just mention that many conversations take place behind closed doors. For example, on the first day, the first half of the entire morning was all energy ministers. There's around 80 countries represented here, not just from Africa, but as you said there, globally. And those conversations were behind closed doors. What is discussed there, as not all of it has been revealed yet. We understand that later this morning there will be an announcement from an African country. We don't know the finer details of that yet, but certainly you are correct, deals are being signed. On that note, though, I just wanted to say that yesterday we also heard from the African Petroleum Producers Organization, or APO, saying that now that less money will be invested in energies like oil and gas, the majority of funding that Africa has gotten over the last century for that has come from abroad. But now that kind of funding will be cut because the world is moving more towards green energy. So an Africa Energy Bank is in the making. It will be established in the next few months to come, and that Secretary General saying there that $6 billion will be available for Africa to continue with something like exploration of gas and oil on the continent, because there won't be any more funding or the same amount of funding directed towards oil and gas as it would have been in the last century. So definitely Africa is looking to its own.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because I mean, there's interesting deals obviously that you're announcing there, but essentially we're talking about agreements that are being made by very big role players, the elephants, if you will, of the energy discussion. But one would hope that at a conference like this, you'd also start to see small to medium enterprises add their voice to the discussion. I mean, do we have enough of those representatives in the room as well?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that if there is enough of them, but there's certainly anyone who has any stake in the energy field is represented here. We're talking about 1,800 delegates that are present from across the continent and globally. So certainly small and medium enterprises would be part of conversations and plenaries. There's a myriad of activities that take place at any given moment here, from the morning early to the evening late. As we're standing here, on that side there's a main stage, there's a discussion. On the right hand side there's a plenary taking place. There's other venues inside where people are also talking and discussing various things. So if there's enough small to medium enterprises here, I cannot say, but certainly every role player in the industry is represented here this week.
Just lastly, before I let you go, Mariska, what the rest of the program looks like? Any highlights still coming up?
Like I said, we understand that there will be an announcement later today with an African country. We are waiting to hear when and where that will happen. We heard that it will be around the 11:30 mark, so we're waiting for that. And of course, the Africa Green Energy Summit is taking place at the same time. So there's a number of activities taking place. As I said, behind us at the moment, there's a plenary going on about Africa's green energy future. So lots still taking place here, lots happening before the summit closes at the end of the week.
Very busy conference, Mariska. Thank you so much for bringing us the latest. Mariska Botha there, live from Cape Town.